Hey guys, welcome to today's video. We're going to be counting down my top 5 Star Wars games of all time. Hope you enjoy. So before I jump into the top 5, here's just a quick look at some of my collection. A majority I own physically, and then I do own some games digitally. So as you can see, over a number of different platforms. And if you guys weren't aware, the Xbox original versions of the games, as you can see there, these can be played on the latest Xbox in up to 4K resolution, 120 frames per second, so definitely the best way to play these games. So as you can see, we've got quite a diverse choice of games here, going from obviously the original Battlefront games, Republic Commando, Knights of the Old Republic, right up to your EA games, which I do enjoy, but not as keen on them as the older games, to your Gamecube games, where we got the likes of Rogue Squadron. PlayStation, we got Starfighter, Revenge of the Sith, obviously the original Battlefront games on that platform as well. So starting in on number 5, we have Star Wars The Clone Wars, which was released on the Gamecube and original Xbox. As far as I'm aware, they're the only platforms it was done on. So this was a great game, and I really enjoyed playing this as a kid. So basically, it's a game which involves, so you get to use ground-based vehicles and aerial vehicles like the Republic gunship. And it takes you from the events of Episode 2 Attack of the Clones and that time period between Episode 2 and 3. I'm a big fan of that sort of time era between 2 and 3, so it's a really fun game to play. One part of the game which does stand out to me is the Geonosis sequence, so it basically allows you to complete the events that took place in Attack of the Clones, so flying the gunship, destroying the control ships, etc. It's really good fun. And in addition to the fun gameplay, it also had cutscenes with decent acting and added just further expanded universe content to the Star Wars universe, which is always welcome. In addition to there being a single player campaign, there was also a multiplayer mode where you could do split screen against your friends, and I do have fond memories as a kid doing co-op with my cousins and going against them on some of the maps. It was really good fun. So next up we have Star Wars Bounty Hunter, which was released on the Nintendo GameCube, PlayStation 2, and recently re-released on the PlayStation 4. So this is a really good game, this one. I actually completed it on the PS4, but I also own the physical GameCube version, which I've currently lent out to somebody, but it's an outstanding game. So basically it follows the story of Jango Fett, and it leads right up to the events where he's recruited by Count Dooku for Attack of the Clones to obviously manufacture the clone army. It's actually Tamora Morrison that voices it, which is always good. What's great about the game is you get to use different weapons, gadgets throughout the levels, and you get to explore lots of different planets in the Star Wars universe. A particularly cool part of the game is where you actually retrieve Slave 1, so you get to learn the backstory, how he stole it and it was like a police prototype ship and he ended up destroying all the others, so his is the only known example left in the galaxy, which just makes the Slave 1 even cooler than what it already was. You also get to meet the character Zam Wessel, who appeared in Attack of the Clones. She's not in that film massively, so this really adds a good backstory to that character, and we learn a lot more about her and how her and Jango came to be together alongside each other collecting bounties. And then the main villain in the game is someone called Montrose, who is a Mandalorian, and it's really cool to just see a new Mandalorian character and explore a bit more about the culture. Next up we have Star Wars Republic Commando. Now to a lot of people this might come across as just a typical first person shooter, but obviously if you're into Star Wars you're going to absolutely love this. What made it different to most first person shooters like Call of Duty is it included a squad-based system where you could command your squad of Republic Commandos, and you could tell them to deactivate bombs, attack certain enemies, etc. It was really good, and a really good mechanic that made it different to any first-person shooter out at the time. Also, this game introduced lots of new weapons, in particular the iconic weapon the Republic Commandos use. I can't remember what the blaster is, but it's very cool. You get to use snipers. And also the whole game is in first person and you're in a heads-up display like a clone helmet shape, so it really immerses you into the experience. And then putting the mechanics aside, it has a really good story which takes place obviously between episode 2 and 3. It leads right up to the events of Order 66, where the game sort of ends. and I think a lot of people have been anticipating they were going to release a second game called Imperial Commandos, but as of yet we've not had that. I'm aware they're re-releasing Republic Commando on the Switch. That is a rumour that it's been noticed on the store, so it would be great if we could get this game in portable format. The game also filled a bit more backstory for General Grievous. There's a whole section of the game which takes place on Kashyyyk, and you have to intercept General Grievous. So, coming close to the top one now, but here we are in second place, Star Wars Battlefront 2. So I've got a lot to say about this game. When I was a kid, I used to play this all the time on the PlayStation 2. The whole reason I got a PlayStation 2 was for this game. The amount of hours I put into this was insane. I know I'm the highest rank on the game. I used to just love playing it every day. So I'm sure a lot of people are aware what this game is like. In particular, the instant action mode. It allows you to do basically huge Star Wars battles in both the era of the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy. You can play as the clones, the droids, stormtroopers, the rebellion. The game also introduced the hunt mode, it's called, and it allowed you to play as characters such as the Wampa, Gungans, etc. What made this game better than the first one was the fact that you could play as heroes. So if you earned enough points and racked them up, you'd get the option to play as any hero. It could be Mace Windu, Darth Vader, Darth Maul. There were so many choices. And something that was particularly cool about the Xbox version of this game is it got an exclusive DLC where you got to play as a Sarge Ventress from the Clone Wars animated series, and you also got to play as Kit Fisto. And in addition to that, it added a couple of maps from the original game. I believe those were Bespin and Renbar Harbour. And to this day, I often play Battlefront 2. With one of my friends in particular, we play it split screen all the time. And with it obviously being available on the Xbox One X, I can just have it on my TV in 4K, 60 FPS. It runs absolutely smooth. I remember loading the PS2 version up not too long ago, and it is so like choppy compared to it. I'd never go back, ever. So, at number one for me is Star Wars Battlefront 1. This might surprise a lot of people, as the second game tends to be everyone's favourite, but I do have specific reasons why I like this game, and I'll go into those details. So one thing in particular about the first one that I loved was the fact that you could use aerial vehicles and ground vehicles on the same map. So for example, on Geonosis, you'd have your gunships flying over, players would be controlling the AT-ATs on the ground, and it just made for this immersive, huge battle experience. Whereas when it came to Battlefront 2, they made the aerial vehicles separate, so it was just space battles only. I'm aware the first game does have some drawbacks compared to the second, such as you can't sprint, and the graphics aren't as great, but I do like sort of the art style of it and the colours of it, whereas I find number 2 to be quite dark. I also think the map choice for number 1 is far superior. We got sort of levels like the Bespin platforms, that huge Geonosis map which I've mentioned, introduced obviously the Hoth, which was moved over to Battlefront 2. Just absolutely outstanding game, and once again my favourite. So it wasn't until quite a while after I played the second game I picked up the first one for PlayStation 2, because I'd always heard the second one was the best, so that's the one I picked up. But anyway, when I got number 1, it was just, I just loved it, and I'm glad that I can play the first one on my Xbox One whenever I want. Hope everyone enjoyed that video, a bit different to the normal ones I do, but try and bring sort of refreshing content to the channel. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe. Comment down below what your top 5 Star Wars games are. I'd love to hear it. Hope you like my choices. See you next time.